All right, guys, one last video for these characteristics, and I promise I'll make it quick. We're going to talk about end behavior. So the thing about these graphs is we talk a lot about the fact that their domain is all real numbers, and it goes from negative infinity to positive infinity, but there's no really good way of me showing that to you. We don't have an infinitely big computer screen or paper or anything, so I can't show you what's happening at the very edges of these graphs. The best I can do as far as a visual representation is I can draw little arrows on the ends and say, okay, it's going on forever, see? But it's hard to really know what that is. So what we try to do, whoops, that's ugly. What we try to do to compensate for that is give what we call end behavior. And basically it's just a way of describing what's happening at the very edges of these graphs. So how it's read is it says as x approaches infinity, y approaches what? So basically what that means is your x-axis is right here and your positive values are to the right. So as that number gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we say that it's approaching positive infinity. And what we want to know here is as x gets closer to infinity, so as x gets bigger and bigger, what is my y value doing? Well, for this, as x gets bigger, that y is pointing up, 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 which means as x approaches infinity, y is also approaching infinity. On the other side of things, this says as x approaches negative infinity, y approaches what? Well, negative infinity would mean I'm going on my negative side of the x-axis and getting smaller and smaller. So as x gets smaller and smaller and smaller, what is my y value doing? Well, as I go to the left here, this thing is pointing up, which means y is also trying to get to positive infinity. So for this parabola, both ends of it are pointing in the same direction, which means in both cases, my y is going up and trying to get to positive infinity. Sorry. So the definition, which I didn't say officially, is a way of describing what happens to the output of a function as the x values approach negative or positive infinity. Basically, as they continue to get larger or as they continue to get smaller, what is happening to your output? Okay, so let's look at our second example then. As x approaches positive infinity, so as I go to the right, what is happening to my y value? Well, as I get farther and farther to the right, this thing is pointing down, which means y is approaching negative infinity. Because the bigger I get here, the lower I'm going to get on the y value. As x approaches negative infinity, so as I go to the left, y approaches what? Well, as I go to the left, this thing is also pointing down, which means as x approaches negative infinity, y also approaching negative infinity. And that's all there is to it. End behavior is really quite simple. When you're looking at a line, then one of them's approaching positive and one of them's approaching negative. But with parabolas, it's really, they're going to be pointing the same way, and you've just got to decide, is this thing trying to climb higher or is it trying to go lower? And that's it. Now you're ready to do some practice and really try to get a good handle on all of these characteristics. I know it's a lot of information, but kind of break it down and master each kind before moving on to the other thing, and I think that will be helpful for you guys. There is an application for the lesson. Make sure you try and do it before coming in asking for a mastery check. Good luck, and let me know if I can help. Bye.